Hi, welcome back. Mitch Argon here with Calneva Realty. I'm going to take you through the May 2024 market for the Reno Tahoe region in just a moment. Okay, let's get started. Let's start up by taking a look at price, median price from April 2024 to 2023. You can see in the table on your screen. Prices are generally up. A couple of anomalies here. Carson Valley at 37%. Yeah, this market is not growing at 37%. It just happens to catch a relatively high month against a relatively low month. But you'll see in the chart on the next slide that that is not the case. Tahoe, same thing, minus 49%. No, prices are not shrinking in Tahoe by any means. We just happen to have an exceedingly high number a year ago. Keep in mind, with regards to Tahoe, the sample size is very small, typically between 7 and maybe 10 properties each month that would go into these numbers. And so there's a lot of potential for that number to move around quite a bit with that small sample size. Giving you a little better view of what the trend line looks like, this shows these markets over the last 24 months. And you can see that after peaking here in the summer of 2022, and dipping down a little bit late 2022. They've been very stable for about the last year. If you look through the last year on these numbers are pretty darn stable, a little bit of movement. We are seeing a slight upward movement in price, but it's slight, probably in the single digit area across the region. Housing affordability, big topic with the rise in interest rates and the rise in home prices that we've seen since the pandemic broke in 2020. And as you can see here, the cost or the payment for principal and interest on a 30-year conventional loan with a 20% down, 80% loan with good credit against a $580,000 house, that's $3,084. So it's down just a little bit, but it's bouncing around. The rates look like they're going to continue to stay higher for longer. And so we'll see what happens here. I think the key thing here, just to put this into context, compared to where we were back in 2020, pre-pandemic, median price of $400,000. So we got up about 50% on price, and the rates were down here sub 3%. Now they're around 7%. So when you combine those two factors, you've got a payment and 4 years ago at $1,390. You got a payment today at just over $3,000. Market reality. We touched on median price, as you can see here. In terms of homes sold, we are seeing a little more demand than we saw last year. It's a bit mixed on this chart here. You can see that Carson Valley is showing 26% less demand, but I'd say in general, we're probably seeing somewhere between 5 and 15% as a range on a week-by-week basis of homes going under contract. So the markets are more active this year than they were a year ago. Month supply of inventory, you can see these numbers have risen just a bit in most of our markets. A couple markets over 2. Tahoe is always a little bit of an anomaly. That's about 4 right now. The bottom line with this is that we have seen a little bit more inventory coming on the market, and that slight increase in inventory that we're seeing is creating a little higher month supply of inventory. Still very low and in seller territory, as though we're well below 4 months in most markets. Here's a look at inventory. You can see a slight gain from a year ago, which I just alluded to. A couple markets are off, but for the most part, we're seeing a little more inventory than we had a year ago. A little more demand than we had a year ago, so the markets remain fairly tight. A visual view on inventory. This gives you a sense for seasonality across each market. You'll see that inventories do pick up in the spring and summer months, and they come down late during the holiday season, during the winter months. So that trend continues. Month supply of inventory, again, while we saw a slight pickup from last month to this month, still very stable and still hovering right around this probably on average about 2 months supply of inventory, which is well below this territory up here, which is the 4 to 6 month supply of inventory, which would represent a balanced market. No pressure up or no pressure down on pricing. We're down here. We do see some upward pressure on pricing. Quick summary. We get asked this question a lot, and I thought I would just ask it rhetorically here and go through some of the thinking behind it. This is not a new question. We've been seeing this question from people who were helping in the field since late 2022 when interest rates started to rise. And so that's been about a year and a half now, a good year and a half or more. So the dilemma is, should I buy now or should I wait for rates to come down? And it's kind of a pick your poison type of analysis. I'm going to go through some of the things to consider, but there is no right or wrong answer here. If you buy now, you probably have less competition than if you wait for rates to come down. We do see that as rates come down, buyers come off the fences, and there's a direct relationship to those two things because affordability increases. So less competition now than we probably will have should rates come down if you're planning on waiting for those rates to come down. So maybe paying a little bit more. In terms of prices we have now, we know what we have. They're given. You can lock that in. If you wait for the rates to come down, you may see more upward pressure on prices because we have more competition among buyers, which is going to tend to push the price up. Talk about inventory in a moment. Of course, if you buy now, you have a known rate. You know what it is. If 30-year fixed, it's not going to go up or down. If you're waiting for the lower rate, it may not happen or it may not happen soon. So you're kind of in a waiting game. Same thing is true if you buy now and you have a higher rate, but you think you're going to refinance when the rates get lower. It may not happen. So you may be stuck with that rate for longer than you planned. Just depends. There's a little bit of risk on all these different dimensions of thinking. And then inventory, which is kind of the counterbalance to the competition and the buyer demand in the marketplace. Right now we have tight inventory. We have unknown inventory if we wait for rates to come down. But I do think that we're going to see more demand come on the market as rates come down than we see supply coming on the market, as new listings coming on the market as rates come down. At some point, we could reach a tipping point, and the sellers who are locked in with their rates may come out in droves and sell their homes, put their homes on the market. But I do believe we're going to see an increase in demand from buyers before we get to that tipping point for sellers. So you're more than likely going to see more competition, more upward pressure on prices if you wait for those rates to come down. There is no right or wrong answer here. It's really a question of evaluating what's important for you based on where you are in your life and in the process of where you're living, and how you want to kind of play the odds, if you will, based on these different scenarios here. I thought I'd just ask this question rhetorically, go through some of the thinking around it to help you understand the dynamic that you're looking at and the pros and cons of doing something in the near term or waiting till who knows when for lower rates. I have the full Greater Reno Tahoe real estate report down below this video. There is a link that you can click. It's about, I don't know, 38 to 40 pages. You can look at details for each market if you like and study it, analyze it any way you choose. It's the actual market data. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below here on YouTube, or give a reply back via email to me or to any of our agents who you may be working with, and we'd be happy to help you further. Thank you for watching, and until next month, enjoy the nice weather. It's coming on nicely. So long.